Hey, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be making my favorite homemade cornbread. Cornbread is one of my favorite snacks because it's not too sweet, not too sugary, yet it's delicious and easy to make. Let's get started. First, you're going to want to open up your pantry and grab your ingredients. First, grab your baking powder, some cornmeal, and also your all-purpose flour as well. Throw them onto the table and then move over to the fridge. I'm grabbing almond milk, but regular milk will do almost better, if not just the same. You're also going to need one egg, so pop that bad boy open, grab a single egg, and then close her back up. The one last item you need from the fridge is butter, so grab that before sneaking into your roommate's cupboard to steal some sugar. Now finally you have all your ingredients. There's a total of only 8 ingredients that are laid on the counter, plus some salt in the back as well. Right before we start as well, you're going to want to make sure that you preheat your oven. Make sure you crank her up all the way to 400 degrees and then set it to start. Now once the oven is set, we're going to grease our pan. I'm using a glass pie plate, but really any pan that is oven safe will work. It really just depends on how big and how thin you want your cornbread slices to come out. Either way though, you're going to want to make sure it's nice and greased up. So grab your stick of butter and get it on the corners and go round and around until the entire thing is covered with butter, and slide it off the side as we'll use it just a bit. Now slide in your bowl and grab a whisk as well, as we're going to start mixing our dry ingredients. The first ingredient we're going to be adding is the flour. So make sure you drop it hard onto your countertop so it makes a loud thud, so then you can then pour in 1 cup of flour into the mixing bowl. Slide her out of the way and grab your cornmeal. Slide in your cornmeal and then make sure you fill up a 1 cup portion of it as well. It should be equal parts cornmeal to flour. The next ingredient is going to be sugar. Originally the recipe calls for 2/3 of a cup of sugar, but I don't like my cornbread too sweet. So I do 1/3 of a cup first, and then my second scoop is only about a half. So technically it adds up to about 1/6 of a cup if you encounter the fact that I half the last 1/3. Once you've added the sugar to the bowl, slide it off to the side and grab your salt. You're going to use 1 teaspoon of salt, so make sure you shake it to the side so it's nice and level. I'm using kosher salt, but it doesn't matter if you use kosher or table salt, either will work. Slide in your baking powder, and then now you're going to add 3.5 tablespoons of it. I like to use my finger to make sure it's nice and level, that way you get a more precise, accurate amount whenever you add it to the bowl. Then grab your whisk, enter it down from the heavens, and start stirring. You want to make sure that you actually combine the ingredients very, very well. It's a very common mistake in baking that people don't mix the ingredients well enough, and then that can add up to clumps and inconsistencies in the batter when you actually bake it. Give it a whisk, toss it a bit, and then you're ready to go. Now that the dry ingredients are all sorted out, we're going to move on to the wet ones. You're going to want to grab 1/3 of a cup of butter and make sure you turn it into liquid. So throw her into a bowl and then toss her into your microwave. I only put my butter in for about 20 seconds, and that was just enough to get it nice and liquid. Pop her open by walking your fingers over and grab her from the microwave. Before you add the wet ingredients into the dry, you want to make sure that there is a nice well in the center for the liquid ones to go. I just use my whisk and make a little hole in the center and then push some of the dry ingredients out to the sides of the bowl. Then you're going to add your butter, 1/3 of a cup of melted butter into the bowl in the very center. And next we're going to add the milk. Again, I'm using almond milk, but normal cow's milk will work perfectly fine, if not better as well. So add in 1 cup of it and then grab your single egg as well. Make sure that you take your egg and crack it on a flat surface and then drop it in from above in a nice big cannonball slash like mine. Then you want to grab your whisk and then make sure you start combining all the wet ingredients. I would start in the very center and mix the wet ingredients together, then slowly incorporate the dry ones as they work to the exterior of the bowl. Again, you want to make sure that you whisk well so that all the ingredients are combined together. Otherwise, you might have dry clumps or inconsistencies in your cornbread, which nobody wants. Once all the ingredients are combined, you want to scrape off your whisk with a nice spatula and then grab your pie plate that you greased up earlier. Make sure you get all of the batter out from the bowl. Scrape down all the sides so you can get as much as possible. More the better. Pour it into the pan and then spread it out evenly and consistently so that it can cook well in the oven. Scrape off your spatula to make sure you get any remaining batter that may fall off. Now head over to your now up to temperature oven and grab your cornbread and toss her in. I just threw her right in the middle of the oven on the center rack and it worked perfectly. You want to cook for 20 to 25 minutes. Once the timer goes off, make sure you open up your oven and pull her out. I put my oven on broil for just a single minute at the very end of cooking, just so it can get a little bit more browned on the top and crispy, just how I like it. Now you should have your perfect, ready to go cornbread. Cornbread is best enjoyed hot, so I always like to cut into it pretty much right away. I cut a nice triangle piece off and then try and get underneath them with my knife. However, cutting with a knife and serving is sometimes not the best, as I don't have one of those fancy cake and pie serving spatulas. I try and put it onto a plate, but thankfully with a little bit of editing magic and a little bit more time, I'm able to perfectly cut the nice slice and how I want it. Once you have your slice cut, it's pretty much ready to serve. Some people serve it with honey on top, but the way that I like it the most is with some butter. So I cut up small into little cubes, and I add my butter by dropping it on top, just like, well, I add my butter, just, oh, no, I add my butter, oh, I add my butter on top just like that. So it's perfectly ready to cook and eat. And there you go, cornbread. Simple, easy to make, and very few ingredients. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!